Okay.
All right, I'm going to show you how to set up and make your own videos to post to your website so students and parents can access the information and the learning from home. And it's been very, very helpful in our math class this year, especially with the implementation of the Common Core, so that parents are hearing the same thing that the kids are hearing. And the parents have responded very well that they like that. And I'm hoping that this is going to make things easier to bridge that gap and that there's less fights at home in the, that's not how my teacher did it. So here's how I make my setup. Now I have one of the older document cameras, so yours may be slightly different in how you set it up. I'm right-handed, and based on the way that I have mine set up, I have to put an extra desk next to me, but yours may work differently with your right-handed, left-handed, that sort of thing. So I put my computer to the side, and then you're going to need a USB, and you need the one that, I don't know what it's called, but it looks like this, okay? Kind of has like an Ethernet-y phone type of looking thing on this end and a USB on this end. So I plug that in to here, all right? And this other end just plugs into the USB on my computer. Now, you will have to, ahead of time, have downloaded the software for your particular document camera. Mine is an Elmo, so I downloaded software called ImageMate, which is what links the document camera to my computer. I like to use a couple colors. They show up nicely. They're nice and bright as opposed to just using regular pen or pencil. And then whatever it is that you are going to be teaching. I make notes ahead of time, and what I do is I have the students fill in the notes along with me. So instead of doing that in class, I can now do it at home. It frees up some class time and allows me to get full, complete thoughts out to the students and parents, whereas in class, you know, I get interrupted with questions and I may not get to say everything that I want to say. I also try and leave a space on the notes paper when I remember for them to write questions in. And I remind them, hey, if you have any questions, don't forget to write them on your paper so that I can be sure to answer them in class. All right, so once you've got these hooked up, your document camera should be set on the camera setting. So then you're going to open up two programs. You need to open up both whatever the program is in your computer that you had to download based on your document camera. The second thing you need to open up is your QuickTime. So first I'm going to open up my ImageMate. All right, so I can see here that this has my worksheet. I'm too zoomed in, but this lets me know what the frame is that they are going to ultimately be seeing. So I think I want the families to see this part of it, at least for the beginning. So once I have this set where I want it to go, the next thing I do, and this is a personal preference, just so that the families don't have to only listen to me, I put on some background music. Just to make it a little bit more interesting, I use my son's lullaby music. It makes a nice, soft background music, no words, but then when I'm writing things and showing things and I don't have anything to say, there's at least not dead silence. There's something a little nice in the background. So we'll go ahead and put on some Baby Jimmy Buffett music. And just be careful of where your microphone is so that you don't have your music too close to your microphone where they can't hear you, but also not too far away where it's not actually heard by anybody other than you when you were making it. So I'm going to turn this down a little. And I usually just put my music right here. So now I have this set up. I have my music going. I have my worksheet. The next thing I'm going to open up is my QuickTime. So I'm going to go to Finder, and then I'm going to click on Applications. And this is preloaded on all of our laptops. So I'm going to go to the QuickTime Player, double click that, So as you can see, nothing really opened, but at the top here is where it tells me that the QuickTime is opened. So now what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna go up to File, and I wanna choose a new screen recording. So I'm gonna open that up. So when I'm ready, and I have everything set, I'm gonna press the record button. Then, after I hit the record button, I'm going to make my window bigger so that it totally encompasses the window. So I'm gonna press record. I'm going to hit start recording. It tells me up here that it is recording, so when I'm ready to stop, I can press the stop button up here. So I'm gonna hit the plus sign to make it larger. And now it's taking up the whole window. So now I can start my lesson. Welcome to multiplying and dividing fractions and mixed numbers. The first thing I'm going to do in each problem is determine the sign of the answer. I see that this is a negative times a positive. So that I know that that's going to give me a negative answer. So my first step is the sign of the answer. My next step is to look diagonally to see if there's any numbers that can be simplified. I see that I have a 4, a 1, and a 5, and 3, so I can't cross simplify, which means that I'm just going to multiply across my numerators and multiply across my denominators. 5 times 1 is 5, and 4 times 3 is 12. And my answer is negative 5/12. You're completing the evens for homework, so let's take a look at another odd problem. Let's look at number 3. I have a positive times a positive, so I know my answer is going to be positive. I'm going to look diagonally. 9 and 7, they don't have anything in common. 4 and 4, those do. Those can simplify to 1 and 1, because 4 divided by 4 is 1, and 4 divided by 4 is 1. Therefore, I get an answer of 7/9. I would continue through doing this for whatever my lesson is. If I make a mistake, I usually keep going and I show that I've made a mistake and how I learned from my mistake and how I figured out that I made a mistake. Unless it is completely unrecoverable because maybe I made a bad problem or something like that, I will work through the mistake so that the parents and students see how you can learn from your mistake and how you can identify that you've made a mistake. When I'm done my lesson, I go over here and I click Stop Recording. Another window is going to pop up, which is going to look like what I just did. From here, I can press play and watch my whole thing. I usually like to edit, so I'm going to go up here to edit, and I'm going to hit trim, because I don't want people to have to watch my arrows starting and ending. So I hit trim, and then I look to see when did I actually start talking, and so I'll trim it in a few seconds on this side, a few seconds on this side, depending on what it is. So I watch it a little more closely and I make note of the times for when I actually want it to stop and start. Then I hit trim. And it has saved my work. I go up File, Save As. It's going to save it to a screen recordings file, see movies. I don't want it to go there personally, so I'm going to choose to save it to my desktop. So I'm going to call this my demo. So I'm going to save. All right. At this point, I'm done with my ImageMate. I'm done with my QuickTime. I can close out all of those things. So to close this, press my little X up here. Close out all that. Once I've finished recording, I'm done with everything. So now I want to open up my browser. Oops. All right, so I like like to use, well, I'm going to go to YouTube. And this is if you're going to set up a YouTube channel. If you have already set up a YouTube channel, then you're going to hit upload. And I have a Mrs. Six channel, but it doesn't look like that's popping up. So let me sign into that.